Alright, welcome. Take a seat, because this is going to be a long one. That's right, today we're going to be starting with one of the greatest Roman emperors of all time, Emperor Augustus himself. In the year 63 BC, Gaius Octavius was born on Palatine Hill in the centre of Rome itself. Though he spent much of his early childhood at his father's estate in Velletri, his father being part of a very wealthy equestrian family. And just to add to the confusion, his father was also called Gaius Octavius, same as his grandfather, who was also called Gaius Octavius, so yeah. His mother, Atea, was from a relatively unknown family, apart from one uncle by the name of Julius Caesar, who wasn't that famous at this point. Give him a decade or so, give him a decade. But then, at the young age of 4, his father died. His mother quickly married again, though, to a guy called Lucius Marcus Philippus, who was a former governor of Syria and a self-proclaimed descendant of Alexander the Great. So, upgrades. He never really showed much interest in raising young Gaius, but for the most part he was raised by his grandmother, sister of Julius Caesar, Julia, until 51 BC, where she died as well, and he gave the speech at her funeral, since Julius was currently doing his conquests in Gaul. Also, interestingly enough, his mother and stepfather actually started to show some interest in raising the boy, which is just amazing. Well done to you two. 4 years later, he would attend the College of Pontiffs, and the following year he was put in charge of organising the Olympics. In a way, this was his first real taste of responsibility in a leadership sense. The games were held in honour of the Temple of Venus Generix, built by Julius Caesar, which he dedicated on the last day of his triumph. It is recorded that Octavius wished to join Caesar on his North African campaign in the civil war of the First Triumvirate, but his mother forbade it. But she did allow him to go in 46 BC on his Hispanic campaign, but was unable to go because he fell ill. After finally recovering, he was able to join Caesar in Hispania, but he got caught in a shipwreck, landing on shore with only a few companions in hostile territory. After finally arriving at Caesar's camp, he was so impressed that he allowed him to join him in his carriage, and when returning to Rome, became Julius Caesar's primary benefactor in his will. After the Civil War, Octavius went on to undergo physical and strategic military training in the city of Apollonia in Illyria until the 15th of March, 44 BC, where Julius Caesar was murdered. At this point, as Caesar's primary heir, he was in great danger of suffering a similar fate to Caesar himself, and was advised to seek refuge in Macedonia, but like the absolute legend he is, he said hell no to that, and went straight down to Rome. Also, at this point, Octavian and Mark Antony began their rivalry, where Mark Antony attempted to delegitimize his claim to being Caesar's heir, by saying the only reason he became his heir was due to sexual favours, which was quickly put down by the famous Roman historian Suetonius, who opposed this statement and labelled it as political slander, a very common tactic of the time, almost as popular as it is today. When he arrived in Rome, he found Mark Antony in an uneasy alliance with those who killed Caesar, though Mark Antony did manage to drive a few of them out of Rome and had started to turn public opinion against the assassins, though he did grant many of them general amnesty. It was due to this appeasing attitude Mark Antony had, he was becoming less popular with both senators and the Mark Antony's year of consulship was coming to an end, he attempted to pass a law that would assign him Cisalpine Gaul as his own personal province. Meanwhile, Octavian was busy building his own private army, recruiting Caesarian veterans to his legions. He also gained the loyalty of two of Antony's legions himself. With Mark Antony seeing the increasing threat to his life, he chose to flee Rome to Cisalpine Gaul, which was already under the control of Decimus Albinus, who was one of Caesar's assassins and refused to surrender control of the province to Mark Antony. Antony then went on to besiege Mutina and refused to follow the instructions by the Senate to stop the fighting. You see, at the time, the Senate had no real loyal standing army to them to enforce these resolutions on Mark Antony, but Octavian saw a way to increase his own popularity. He offers the idea of using his own private army to go and put down Antony's rebellion. In 43 BC, the Senate appointed him as a senator and gave him commanding powers. With these powers, he then sent his troops to relieve the siege, and in April of the same year, Antony's forces were defeated at the Battle of Forum Gallorum and Mutina. His forces, now defeated, retreated into Transalpine Gaul, though Hieratus and Pansa, both the other two consuls in control of Octavian's army, are now dead, leaving Octavian as the sole commander of the army. After Antony's defeat, the Senate granted huge rewards to Decimus, but significantly less to Octavian. This caused Octavian to write to the Senate saying that he would no longer assist in any fighting with Mark Antony. Octavian then sent ambassadors down to Rome, stating that he wished to have the consulships of both of the other two consuls that died in the battle, and insisted that Mark Antony should be declared as a public enemy to Rome. After the Senate declined Octavian's request, he proceeded to send down 8 legions of Roman soldiers to face virtually no resistance, and on the 19th of August for 43 BC, he was elected co-consul along with Quintinius Pentus. Meanwhile, Mark Antony was forming the alliance with Marcus Lupius, laying the foundations for the Second Triumvirate, which we will talk about in the second part, because, God, there's a lot of information about Emperor Augustus. So we'll be talking about the Second Triumvirate and his emperorship in part 2, maybe part 3. See you guys next time.